A little over a week ago, I made a post on Instagram talking about Game Master player characters, or GMPCs, or Dungeon Master player characters, aka DMPCs, and it got a lot of little controversy and discussion going on, and I wanted to clarify some of the information that I provided to make sure people understood what a DMPC really is. So today, let's talk about those. Hey fellow Game Masters, I'm Richard Quiner, and welcome back to the RPG Daily, your daily dose of all things tabletop role-playing games, helping you build your world and master your game. Now, I want to talk about Dungeon Master player characters, or DMPCs. And the main thing I noticed on this Instagram post was there seemed to be some confusion between what is a DMPC and what is a regular NPC. Now, we know what an NPC is, right? It's a non-player character. That means it is a character that is not controlled by any of the players in the party. Usually, 99.9% of the time, this type of character is controlled by the Dungeon Master or Game Master. But that does not mean that the NPC is a DMPC. There is a difference. And the reason it's important to understand the difference. Now, a Dungeon Master player character, or DMPC, is a character that is controlled by the Dungeon Master that is also their player character. Meaning, they are a permanent member of the adventure party. That's the big distinction between what is a Game Master PC / Dungeon Master player character versus what is a non-player character. Starting with that baseline. Permanent member of the party versus just shows up on occasion. That's something you need to remember when when thinking about Dungeon Master player characters. The reason I bring this up is because on the Instagram post, several people they came and they said, but what if this is the case? And they outline a scenario for a character. They say, what if this character is someone who's stronger than the party and is with them, and then they die, and then the party wants to strive to be stronger than they are? I said, well, that character is a short-term member of the party. They're there to give the players something to work towards. They're not really a DMPC. They're an NPC. That's how I view it. That's how I define things. But some people might not define it that way, which is why at the start of this video, I'm taking all this time to explain that difference. So now that we know, a DMPC, permanent member of the adventure party with the group the whole time, non-player character, aka NPC, temporary, shows up whenever it needs. Even if it is for a longer term, they're still not a permanent member of the adventure party. Now, there are several times or opportunities in which a Dungeon Master or Game Master might need to have a player character. The main one I can think of off the top of my head is if you have an adventure party that's short, that's small, like 2 or 3 players, the Dungeon Master might want to participate in order to make their balancing of the game a little more fun, or a little easier on them for later on. If you can get it up to 4 players in the adventure party, that just makes things a lot easier to manage in terms of the balance of the game. The other reason that you might have that is if you have a group of friends and one of them is going to be the Dungeon Master, but the friends say, oh, but we also want you in our adventure party too. So then the Dungeon Master says, okay, I'm going to make a player character also. So then they have a permanent member of the party that they play. Both of these are perfectly valid reasons to have a DMPC. The point is to give you some ideas and tips on running DMPCs so you don't take away the freedom and the joy of the game from your player characters, the players who are playing. Now, when you make a DMPC, first off, here's a rule you should already stick to anyways. Build them the same strength as the player characters, right? And I'm talking level, magic items. If the players don't have magic items, then the DMPC shouldn't get any magic items either. Give them the same restrictions that the players have, and then take it another step. Here's why. As the DM, you're going to read and you're going to learn a lot more about the game and how things work, and you might get more into theory crafting of a character than the players might, as the players are building their one character. And then it's a real slippery slope and a really good, there's the temptation, I should say, to make your character so optimized and so perfect that they overshadow the players, even if you are playing with the same rules. If you're the same level, but you picked all the perfect feats for your character to make them extra strong compared to your other players. There's nothing technically wrong with that. You're not making them overpowered on purpose, but at the same time, you kind of are. And people might look at that and say, well, why would you want to handicap yourself? And I say, because you want to have fun. A team should have like a nice balance to it. They should all be able to work together to accomplish the task without relying on one person to do everything all the time. And that's a common mistake that dungeon masters make when they make player characters, is they make a player character that's so strong because they have to protect their players or something, that then they're just the overpowered one that's just killing everything, and then the players are just left in the dust. That's why I say, you know, make yours even with your players. Don't make them extra powerful, just make them even. I would even venture as far to make them a little bit weaker, so then they can take a back seat on things, so then they aren't trying to control the narrative and control where the players are going. Which leads me to the next thing. As a DMPC and a DM, you have the hard task of playing the game, making the decisions that your player character would make, while also holding on to the knowledge of the game and the future of the game without controlling what the other players are doing. It's this weird balancing act where you know what's coming up, but you have to make decisions that your player character would make without that knowledge. So it's the ultimate test of separating player knowledge versus character knowledge. It's a big test on that, and it's very difficult to do, but you have to make sure you do that, because once you start using your DM knowledge to make your character decisions, that kind of takes some of the fun out of the story. The players are not discovering the story with you, you're just leading them along the path. And that's less fun. Players want to be able to discover the journey on their own. The other suggestion I like to make for people who have to play the DMPC is make them a supporting character. Make them, if no one else in the party wants to be a healer, if they want to be DPS, wizards and such, and you don't have a healer in the party, make your DMPC the healer of the party. If no one wants to be a tank, make yours the tank. Make these support classes, make it what will fill in the gap that's missing in the party. For example, some people might want to all be damage dealers. It's very tempting for the DM to say, I want to be the damage dealer, I'm going to hurt everything the most, and they make their character that's the most epic damage dealer ever, and it makes the other player characters feel just unneeded, I guess. So I feel like it's kind of the sacrifice you should make as a DM if you're going to be playing a DMPC, is take a backseat, be a support character. The other thing you could do if you're making a DMPC in order to fill that gap, because there's only 3 players, the other option you could do that I saw on Instagram someone suggested is they made several different NPCs that could fill this role. And then the players could choose which NPC would go along with them on their adventure. They could go and basically hire that NPC for the quest. I think this is a really good way to do it, because then you create a character that will fill the spot that the players need filled. The players get to decide what that spot is for that particular quest. So you aren't forcing them to make a decision. They still have the opportunity to choose between, maybe they want higher damage, maybe they want a tank, maybe they want a healer, as an example. But they still get that option. And then that is an NPC, so they're not staying with the characters all the time. They're not influencing the story in a big way. And it makes it a lot easier for you as the DM to play that character, because you're going along for the ride. You're helping out in the combat when you can. You're still a part of the party, but you're not a major story point, so to speak. You're not a big part of the story structure of this game. I know this whole topic seems a bit silly and it is a little rambly, but the whole reason this came up is because I go on Reddit and I go to the D&D horror stories subreddit sometimes, and there's almost every day there's some sort of horror story about a DM who wanted a DMPC, who then made them super powerful and made them the center of the attention of the whole town. And I remember this one very specifically where the guy was like, oh, and then the DMPC went to this town and he killed the king in his castle, and he married the king's wife, and he became the all-powerful ruler of the town, and he was also a super strong wizard, and he did all this while the rest of the players did nothing. And I read that kind of stuff and I'm like, why? Where's the fun in that? You're just alienating the players. Those kind of situations is the reason I wanted to make this video. I want to encourage the dungeon masters to look at it as you're telling the story of your players. As I've said so many other times, I feel like a broken record. You're telling the story of your players. You want them to have fun. The fun of a DM should come from building the world and watching the players and their characters become the heroes. I think that is the best way I can say. That's where the fun for me as a DM comes from. It doesn't come from being the center of the story that is all about me, me, me. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on DMPCs. And remember my definition. Don't go in the comments telling me your idea for a DMPC and have it be an NPC that's only going to be around for a couple sessions. Don't do that. I want to know tips you have. If you had experience playing a DMPC that worked out well, let me know. I want to know what you did. That sounds cool. Anyways, I've been Richard. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see on the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. You can also click over here to see more videos in this playlist, or over here to see what YouTube suggests you watch from my channel.